Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the laws of love. This book that came in 1963. It was psychographed by two mediums, Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier in Brazil, and one spirit author, Emmanuel. The intention of the book, actually the objective, as Emmanuel says in the preface, is to help us understand suffering from the Spiritist point of view and help us educate ourselves, acquire new habits. Usually when we suffer, we feel we're being punished. Rarely we look at our sufferings from the glass half full point of view, right? Why? Because we're conditioned to see the difficulties, the problems, illnesses as punishment. But are really they punishment? Are they really punishment? No. Spiritism explains to us we are being educated by God. God is helping us expunge our disturbing vibrations we've conquered without noticing. You and I make mistakes without knowing what we're doing. It's as if we could hear Jesus every day saying, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. Often we don't. Often we feel this threat inside of us and we defend ourselves, projecting issues, problems that sometimes don't even exist. And other minds from the beyond take advantage of our vulnerabilities and partake in our decisions. And then consequences will come, whether in this life or in future lives. But in this book of 8 chapters, we've discussed 7 of them in different blocks, chopping up in different blocks of questions and answers, because this book is in questions and answers. And we are finally in chapter 8. It's about redemption. We began it yesterday with 3 questions about when are we finally going to redeem ourselves? And we talked about redemption as the pathway through which we no longer make mistakes. We are going to become anew. But there are so many questions still to understand. And today we're going to see a few more. Emmanuel was asked if it is enough to cry. Is it enough? We talked about it yesterday. Is it enough to cry to cleanse our hearts? Well, he says, tears wash away, but without despair and rebelliousness. So we need to convert our pains in joys and the difficulties in lessons. It humbles us. Do you agree? And that's one of the things that this pandemic does. It humbles us. And it's great. I know some people are like, but I don't want people to see that I'm weak, that I'm fragile, that I'm vulnerable. Why? At the end of the day, we're all together in this learning experience, you and I. It's an opportunity that we all have to learn that only God is the invulnerable, unbeatable. All of us, we're subjected to the laws of life, laws of love. What about when people hurt us? You know Jesus recommended that we should bless the hands that hurt us, like Stephen did. Read in the chapter 9 of the book Paul and Stephen by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. There we're gonna see this amazing scene that actually happened. Stephen is being stoned to death. Saul of Tarsus is there commanding the stoning. And what does Stephen do? He's blessing the very hands that hurt him. But is it enough? Or is there something else we need to do? What do you think? We think, oh my gosh, it's more than enough, Vanessa. Are you ready? Because here's the answer. We're talking about laws of life. It's important to know so we can comply. Mamma mia, what a particular lesson. It says, let us bless the hands that hurt us, but let us dedicate ourselves to doing something that they can renew themselves in understanding and towards the practice of the good, under the inspiration of good examples that we can give. We're not here to lecture anybody. He's talking about our walk of the talk, right? So it's not enough to bless the hands that hurt us. We need to fulfill our duties with love, and in that pathway, we'll naturally stimulate, encourage people to be their best. So we need to work on ourselves. The beauty of this answer is that it empowers us to work on ourselves, because usually we're focused on others. How do I make them change? And the answer is, well, just keep working on yourself, because you'll be seen. People will see us. Joana de Angelis says it in the book Happy Life. You are an example for someone, so take care of yourself. Not because we're modeling externally, but because we are co-creators with God. We count on creation. Nobody tells us that, right? But we need to tell our children, God counts on you. Jesus counts on you. And when we wake up every day, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we say, yes, God counts on me. Jesus in the governance of this planet counts on me. Let me do my best. You and I need to feel this. Then we'll be able to do much. What about those who bully us or who bully our belief? Is it enough just to believe in the truth while we're suffering the laughter of those, the irony of those who refuse to embrace it? How many people look at us? I remember I was raised in a Spiritist family that comes from generations. I'm fifth generation. So I have stories of my ancestors. When they would go to school, people would bully them because they're Spiritists. I remember when I was a little one, in Rio de Janeiro, I was 7 years old, and these two girls looked at me and said, oh, you're a witch, you're a witch. I didn't even understand what they were talking about. Thanks to the good education at home, that didn't impact me. But I also learned with my parents, my grandparents, my uncles, that we respect people's misunderstandings. We need to respect even their limitations on understanding us. And we don't need to prove a point to anybody. So you live a normal life. And when people find out, you just keep on loving it, accepting yourself, and moving forward. But Emmanuel is asked, is it enough just to do that? Emmanuel says, we need to tell the truth. We tell the truth, and often people laugh at us. Well, he says, just because this happens, we think we are exempted from working towards the expansion of new lights, when the truth demands, claims that we continue our selflessness so the benefit of everyone triumphs, wins. Vanessa, can you repeat? You want to repeat, right? Yes. He says 2 parts. We tell the truth, people laugh at us often. But just by experiencing that, we feel that we are exempted from helping the expansion of these new lights. But in reality, the truth asks us to continue working towards it so people may be benefited. So it's not enough to be a spiritist at home, reading the books, not telling anybody. No, we need to publish in our social media, not to proselytize, not to preach, but simply to share. Yes, we can respect people's way of not understanding it. That doesn't mean we're going to keep it to ourselves. Jesus spoke the truth. And if he didn't, we wouldn't be here. But it's not only about speaking. It's about forgetting ourselves. And this is the part that many people don't understand. Because usually our ego comes in the way. And what happens? Ego comes and we feel at some point, I'm not going to say this because if I do, I may lose my job. If I say this or I share in my social media, people are going to think I'm weird. They are no longer being my friends. That's not selflessness. But when I forget about myself and I say, this message is more important than me. If somebody unfriends me because of it, I'm sorry. But this is life. What about people who are ungrateful to our good intentions, our good deeds? Is it enough simply to suffer ingratitude? Because in the gospel it says that there will be rewards for those who suffer ingratitude. But how? And Emmanuel explains. To collect stones of ingratitude and transform them into petals of tenderness is a proof of heroism. Multitudes of people breathe in that exchange. And they go through a very strange moral anguish. And they prefer the hypnosis of complaint. Ingratitude is always the result of ignorance. So ingratitude, some other people's ingratitude, so it makes us be benefited in terms of us producing blessings. It's necessary to proceed sowing understanding and fraternity in the dry lands of incomprehension of those who deserted others. What does that mean? These levels, the level of this proposal today, blessing our difficulties, is really another story for us. You and I are being asked to go through this understanding here and add a new line into our to-do list daily to bless our difficulties. Not easy. Usually we react. Usually we stay away. Usually we complain. The bar is higher today. asking you and I to bless it and to focus on the good. We don't know much about it, do we? But we're going to learn. You and I are learning it. And the learning today, the lesson of today is asking us, first, let us bless our difficulties. How? By focusing on how I see it, interpreting differently. When somebody hurts us, they don't know what they're doing. When we hurt people, we don't know what we're doing. When we know the truth and people laugh at it, they also don't know what they are doing. We need to keep on going, because one day they will. Look at Saul of Tarsus. He not only laughed, but he persecuted, he killed, and then he embraced it all. And when it comes to ingratitude, friends, really, all we need is God. People need to be grateful to God, not to us. So to be selfless in that expectation and helping with our understanding and fraternity. This lesson is huge today. And in the next 24 hours, you and I are invited to do this exercise. I bless this pain. I bless this difficulty. And I know this shall pass. I'm going to be understanding, loving, and kind. So, dear friends, you and I are here tonight to learn something completely new that probably we've never heard in previous lives. To bless our difficulties. And you know also why? Joana de Angelis told Divaldo Franco. The difficulty we have today is a millionth of what we have experienced or practiced in the past. It's just think of a comet in the sky, the tail of the comet. When it hits something, the damage is much smaller. Much, much smaller. So we can look at our difficulty and say, wow, this could be worse. I'm going to bless it. Bless the misunderstandings, the limitations. Bless the ingratitude. Bless everyone, because sooner than later we'll be together in a new page. This is going to be it for today. A lot of food for thought and a wonderful exercise for the heart. We wish you many blessings during this day, and we hope we stay together in this current of healing, the healing of the heart. Thank you, friends, for being together here at Cardiac Radio once again. We wish you lots of blessings, and until tomorrow, God willing, in one more Laws of Love at Cardiac Radio.